Welcome to this video. This is discussing a family 10 mark student answer for the outline and explain with an examiner commentary. Before we start though, I just want to say a massive thank you for all the likes and subscribes as that you are giving me. It shows that you are valuing the time I'm putting into making these tutorials, and I am really overwhelmed in what started as some supportive tutorials that I made for my students, and this has now spread, so lots of students who are studying AQA Sociology are benefiting from it. And my aim is always to reduce any worry that you might have about the upcoming exams, just to make you best prepared as possible. And like I said, that is always my aim, so a big massive thank you to you all. In particular, my last video, A-star Sociology, the night before the exam, which was before the education paper last Tuesday, that received over 800 views with 20 odd likes and counting, showing me that you really valued it and needed those last minute reminders for those exams. So I do want to do another one like this before paper 2 and paper 3. So if you do have any questions that you want answering, please comment in the comment section below, and I will aim to include them in my next video that I will most likely record on Monday evening, ready for the exam on Wednesday. Okie dokie do. And just one last thing as well, I just want to mention and take a massive bow to my 8-year-old son, who is absolutely amazed that his mummy is now a YouTuber. His words, not mine, and he has been giving me hints and tips about these videos just to make them a little bit more enjoyable for you to watch. So a massive thank you to everybody. So let's get back to business. So as always, a quick reminder of what is expected on a 10 mark. This one's focusing on an outline and explain. You have got a wonderful 15 minutes to answer, 7.5 minutes per paragraph. So I'm expecting 2 balanced, chunky paragraphs. Going into a little bit of detail, just aim for as much as you can write in 15 minutes. It asks you for reasons, ways, effects, problems, strengths, weaknesses of a particular area, view, theory or method. Make sure that you are looking for the question hooks, as this question requires you to make the link between the two. I usually refer to them as part A and part B, and showing how they link together. It only appears on theory and method, paper 1 and 3, and the topics on paper 2. So the one that I've chosen you to look at is this one from the family paper. Outline and explain 2 ways in which the divorce rate, so that's part A, has been affected by social changes, part B, apart from divorce legislation. So as you can see, we are asking you to make links between divorce rate and social changes. So it's linking the 2 parts together, and it's asking you to include any apart from the Divorce Reform Act, basically. And this is from the Changing Family Patterns topic. And I've chosen to go through this question because something like social change overlaps with quite a few topics, such as gender roles, childhood, demography, change of family patterns like this one, diversity, and also legislation. So it's a good one to practice making links between topics. So if we look at the indicative content, you can see we've got quite a few social changes that you could have mentioned. Okay, so secularisation, feminism, such as attitudes and expectations, access to and experience of paid work, financial independence, freedom of choice, individualisation, expectations of marriage. So you've got quite a few things that you could have mentioned there, and it's hinting that you can link in a little bit of theory as well. Feminism and rising expectations of marriage was Fletcher, who was from a functionalist perspective, and individuals is a postmodern viewpoint. So you can add in a little bit of theory, which is a really good idea when you are answering a question like this. So let's see the mark scheme then. So as you can see on the mark scheme, to get to the very top band, you need to have very good knowledge and understanding of two ways of two changes in society, apart from divorce legislation. To stay in the top band, you've got to show the application of relevant material. So for example, secularisation, which was the top one on the indicative content, and you might logically explain what that is. You might state there's a decline in church, religious viewpoints, people don't go to church on a Sunday anymore. This is leading to a decline in the traditional values of the importance of a monogamous, married, heterosexual couple, which one of which is the role of marriage. And this means that once a marriage breaks down, people, due to not feeling or being religious anymore and not going to church, they don't feel the need to stay married. And this makes a bit more freedom to get divorce, and this has led to a rise in divorce rates. So as you can see, what I've just explained there is a logical chain of reasoning. You're saying this is happening here, this is the social change, this is what's happening, this is having a knock-on effect, this means this, and this is impacted with the impact of divorce rates, and that's what you need to be able to do. Of course, you need to analyse and give a second social change to firmly achieve that top band, but this is just giving you an idea. So let's have a little bit of a look at a student answer then. So this student starts off by identifying two social changes. We've got the welfare state and the rise in expectations of marriage, and this student does it quite nicely and succinctly to the point, explaining how these social changes have led to the development of divorce, and they're using both terms. Okay, so for example, today's women can divorce men and they will not end up in poverty, because that's really why people did stay together, was because that there wasn't that ability to leave an unhappy marriage, because especially women could not afford to. They were doing the expressive role, they did not have their own income, so they were very much dependent on their husbands. So this student explains that. Okay, and it does that in the next couple of sentences. This welfare state ensures that their housing and other material needs are now met. So we've got now an alternative to marriage, which might rise in divorce. Then this student does a little bit of analysis. Feminists believe that this is positive. It's allowing women to become free of men, but the new right might see this as a negative change because it's undermining the traditional family. So we've got, it's very much sociologically rich, this answer. Okay, we've got key words in there: welfare state, we have got this idea about needing wages, meeting material needs, and then we've got theory, especially in that first paragraph. The second one, it's got a little bit of a joining sentence to the previous paragraph. Functionalists like Fletcher don't see divorce in negative terms, they see it in a positive way. He argues that people's expectation of marriage have changed. We've just mentioned that there is a rise in expectation of marriage. They want romantic love, which is a key word, and if this love dies, then the marriage will die. And in the past, people did not marry just for love, they got married for economic reasons. They made and they stayed married instead. But now we are starting to see that the divorce rates are starting to rise because people still fall in love and get remarried. There's your analysis, and this is showing how people still like being married. So we are doing something which is analysis in the fact that we are looking at the significance of these changes. Does it happen to everybody, for example? And that might be something that you think about when you are analysing for a 10 marker. So what score would you give it? So bit of a checklist. Do they have two social changes which weren't legal? That would be your AO1. Do they explain the impact on the divorce rates? That's the application. And is there any analysis points? And that's the AO3. Okay, just give you a little moment just to check back on that one. So in terms of the examiner comment, this student has given 2 ways in which the divorce rate may have been affected by social changes. That has been clearly identified. For example, the welfare state clearly links to divorce rate, and there is some analysis of this. And this is followed by a discussion of the change in people's expectations of marriage, again clearly linked back to divorce, with some discussion and analysis, and that would receive full band. Okay. So just to remember, the outline and explain is asking you to show application of knowledge between 2 topics. Make sure that you follow a logical chain of reasoning between the part 1 and part 2 of the answer and show how they fit together, and offer in some form of analysis at the end. What extent is it true of all cases? What might feminists think? What might the new right think? Application of theory is often a good idea in adding some analysis in there as well. So if you're ever unsure, what do sociologists think about the point that you've just made, might be a good idea. Okay, so overall, massive thank you once again for watching. This is exploring 10 markers, outline and explain. There are other 10 markers that I've already gone through, so please check out the links below in order to continue practicing, and also remember to comment any questions that you may have about paper 2 or paper 3 in the run up to the exams. So have a wonderful evening, continue with your hard work and revision, and I will see you again soon. Goodbye. Goodbye, bye, bye, bye.